Are you also tired of seeing more of this?
You can't be American and wear that mask. You cannot. We literally had a war about this.
You ain't gonna win!
My wrist.
Down the street, the cops are gonna have his name.
Hands up! Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot!
You don't need a mask.
Relax.
Man, I can't breathe my face. Just get up.
As I watch the video and listen to the officer's commands, it is my belief that the officer had the intention to deploy their taser, but instead shot Mr. Wright.
No peace! No justice! No...
Throw the fist, man. Throw it. Throw it.
And less of this? Let's talk. Bam, badam, bam, 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 badam, bam, bam, bam. Cafe. Bam, ba, 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 ba. Cafe. Dun, 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 dun. Cafe. Okay.
That's weird.
What?
It says on this flyer, private selection, Italian cheese. Oh, cup. Never mind.
Italian cheese cup.
My brain red dip.
Your brain red dip?
My brain red dip.
Dip, dip.
But it didn't say dip, it said cup. So
Dip, dip.
never mind. I'm a dumbass. My brain isn't working. Okay.
Why? That's okay. I have an ad that won't go away on my recorder.
You ever do that? Do you ever read something and your brain reads it differently and you've read over 5 times and your brain still reads it differently?
Yeah.
It doesn't want to read it the right way, and then all of a sudden your brain goes, wait a minute.
Yeah, I've done that because I'll be like reading something. I'm like, wait, and then I have to like backtrack. Like, what the fuck did I just read?
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah, I hate that too. Okay, I think everything's recording.
Okay.
So, and you're not even on the camera if you're worried about that, which that part will disappear later. Mr. Mysterious Guest that we're going to have. He's our mystery guest that will just randomly appear and we'll never know who he is. We just hear his voice.
Oh, okay. Are you recording at the moment?
I'm recording on both, yes.
Oh, okay. So we're actually going. Okay.
We're actually going.
Okay, so why don't you start and then I'll just follow, whatever.
Okay. It's usually how it goes. I mean, this is my first test run, so
Okay.
getting to have an actual guest on here that's not my mother unit. Rachel and I did one way back, and my battery like ran out of charge, so we never got to finish the whole conversation, and it just wasn't long enough to even upload, unfortunately. So, a while back you had asked about cancel culture, and you had wanted to talk about lovely hashtag cancel. And you remember when I had brought up the thing about how abusive our society is?
Mm-hmm.
In a way, the two are kind of intermixed, if you really think about it.
Okay.
So, to start off with, cancel culture has always been around. It's just, hashtag cancel is just the current form it has taken, but we've always kind of had, you know, we've always had the grannies gossiping about everyone's lives. We've always had, you know, people basically having their reputations ruined because of other people's gossip. The difference is now, thanks to things like social media, it has now gone from being in our regular neighborhoods and hometowns to now it's spread worldwide. I mean, think about it. Gossip magazines have always made money on gossip and cancel culture.
That's true.
But now we've gone from gossip magazines to now we have, say, everyday people like us who have social media who now spread that same gossip. And in a way, they still kind of feed off of that. But so, are you with me so far? That makes sense.
So you want me to interject?
If you want,
Okay.
we can just talk like we normally do.
So basically, my understanding of cancel culture is that the idea of basically that I see within our society a lot of celebrities or people in, like, say, political positions, or people who have talk shows, or just basically anyone that has a name that's out there and they're having success being, in whatever form or fashion, a basically like a celebrity or a known person. And that basically, that known person and whatever their affiliated thing is that they're doing, that they end up saying something that sounds wrong to a group of people, or they end up basically interjecting in some way that is taken often out of context of what they meant when they said it, or possibly in context with what they said. Basically, it's kind of like other people judging something that someone else said and saying, well, they should be fired, or they shouldn't be doing their whatever they're doing. Their celebrity status should basically be ended because of the one thing that they just happen to say or happen to do or whatever. And you have one side that says, okay, well, thus and such said this, and they mean this, and then you have another side that says thus and such person didn't probably mean that, what they meant was this, and they end up basically, taking two different sides of views and not really knowing what that celebrity or that person originally said. So
Yeah, in a way it is. I mean, it originally started out with, like celebrities and stuff. Like, in a way, cancel culture really, like, for me personally, when I saw cancel culture kind of get its big, like, the power that it has now was during the Me Too movement, when a lot of celebrities, like R. Kelly, for example, right now we have Marilyn Manson, where their dark secrets have basically started coming out for the world to see, because their victims have started coming forward and going, hey, he did XYZ to me. And so, in a way, cancel culture kind of started off on a positive note in that sense with the Me Too movement, because it was canceling celebrities who had done wrong, illegal things and have taken advantage of being a celebrity, their power that they get while being a celebrity. Because when you think about who are you going to believe? Are you going to believe the small town person over here that's screaming the R card? I'm going to say R card because that YouTube censors shit. Or are you going to believe the celebrity that we've known for years? We've watched, like, say, their films, we've listened to their music, we're a huge fan of theirs, we've spent a lot of money on them. And you get torn, because it's like, this is someone you look up to. This is like your hero, for example. And yet you're finding out this darker side of your hero. So that's when I started seeing it really, like, booming, was during the Me Too movement. Recently, though, I kind of saw it kind of get to the extreme, because then celebrities who were innocent started being attacked. Remember around this time last year, I was in that huge thing where one of my K-pop idols was literally being canceled for something he hadn't even done, and there's, false information and stuff spreading, and he literally had to leave the group. When he's managed to come back as a soloist, but he can't even acknowledge his work that he's done with his previous group, and they can't even acknowledge that he was a member of that group. So that's still going on. Even though he was found innocent, society still remembers the false information, and I still, to this day, a year later, still see that false information getting spread. And I even see people attacking other members of this group for things they haven't even said. They will just, they'll take advantage of, like, the search engine, for example. The one thing that will be searched the most usually is what pops up at the top of the bar. Like when you're doing a Google search, for example, well, they'll purposely say, like, such and such is a racist, for example, right? Well, they will, like, continuously, like, tweet that, right? And so eventually when you're on Twitter and you look up that celebrity's name and say, you put that celebrity's name and put R, what's the first thing that would come up? Even if someone clicks on that and all they see is that person going such and such is this and all that, it kind of starts the whole cancel culture thing. So you have the people who have used it for false allegations just, I guess, because they're jealous of that person's success. And then you actually have the side of cancel culture that's positive and good because that person actually did that. And you get this weird mix of who to believe, right? But then there's also another side of cancel culture too that I've noticed where, you know, with all the Karen and the Chad videos that have gone around, you know, that was a huge thing that was going around last year. And I still see it every once in a while now. It's not as big anymore. But you would come across clips of videos, just short little 5-minute videos of this person just losing their shit and going off, right? And whoever uploaded the video, whoever shared the video would go, #Karen or #Chad. And that person, based off of that 5-minute video, could lose their entire life. We don't even know their name. But eventually it will circle around through social media, get back to people who actually know that person. And even if they've known that person their entire lives, will literally stop talking to that person based off of that 5-minute video. And that feeds into basically our abusive society that we have. And cancel culture has taken advantage of that abusive society, part of our society. And I'm sure I've lost you now.
No, I'm still following you. I just got to figure out which track to follow.
Yeah, there's like so many.
That's okay.
Wait, it's a layered
I'm not
thing.
used
It's
to,
very
I'm not
layered.
used to recording, so
Okay.
yeah. When I have this thing here, my brain is like not really like we usually talk. So I have to kind of get myself to a place where I can focus. So
Well, pretend this is just up for us to watch our movies.
Yeah. So basically, one of the main things is that, and I am not a social
media person like me.
Media person. I don't believe in it. I try and avoid it as much as possible. I have a Facebook account. I like to go on Facebook, see the people that I know that are on Facebook, see what's going on in their lives. If I want to contact them, I may contact them through social media just to find out what their phone number is if I want to talk to them that way, and then call them on the phone. But I'm not going to do it through social media because I see social media being a very mean and cruel entity that has been created by people who are haters of other people, and that no matter what you post, I mean, the idea is you go on Facebook, you say my name is thus and such, and I want to share with you my life, and here's my life, da 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 da, and you write out your life for the whole world to see. And then that gives the whole world an opportunity for them to get on there and say, you know, attaboy, I love it. Sounds like your life is doing great.
Judge them on this X, Y, Z.
Or you get the other side and people are criticizing you saying, God, didn't you get this? Or don't you get that? Or how could you believe this? Or how could you think that? Or how could you have done that? And you know, so you get both the critiques of criticism and you get the critiques of, you know, agreeativeness with that person in social media. And so you kind of leave your life open to be able to be scrutinized and criticized and basically torn and pieced apart by everybody and everybody's opinion. And the truth is that no matter who you are, you could be for any other term that I can think of, you could be Jesus Christ. and the most perfect human being on the planet,
and can still get attacked for it.
and still be attacked for it.
Yeah.
So no man is without sin, and cast the first stone, right? Except the problem is in social media, it's how many damn stones are going to come at you.
Have you watched the video? There was this video I came across. I'll see if I can find it for you and have you watch it sometime with me. But it was talking about how Martin Luther King would be canceled to this day. And a couple of comedians got together. A group of comedians got together and basically pointed out why Martin Luther King would be canceled today. You know, just because of, well, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this. And, you know, I understand where you're coming from because I've been there. I legitimately took almost 2 to 3 year break from social media for a really long time. And how I approach social media now is completely different from how I approached it 10 years ago when I created my first Facebook page. When I had MySpace. God, can you remember MySpace? God. I'm just showing my age right now. I remember MySpace. Shit.
Yeah, I can't remember what MySpace is.
I'm almost 30. I mean, I remember MySpace. But my MySpace was like less my personal. I mean, MySpace kind of was like my sanctuary in a way because I never really like. I would occasionally post like personal things onto my MySpace, but it was different. It was because I basically had no pictures up of me. I didn't use my real name, none of that. So I had like this cute like anime kitty girl as my profile picture, and my bio was just like, I'm just a, cute little kitty cat that, all this stuff. And so when I would post my really dark thoughts I would have at that time, no one really realized it was me. I think I only had one of my actual friends in my friend group at that time. He was friends with me on MySpace. I literally only had one.
So,
and even then, she never really said anything. I mean, like, if sometimes
so
I
it
post
was
something
sort of like
really dark.
it was like you shared yourself and who you were, but you were anonymous.
Yeah, I was anonymous, exactly.
But the
Because
second you became anonymous, or whatever the word is, then it's different. Then people know who you are and can attack you.
In a way, I mean, like right now, I would never share my MySpace at all. Like, I would not give you my username.
Yeah.
I would not even give you the email that I used at that time, even though that email no longer exists.
No.
Just because I don't want someone to hunt that down and find those really dark thoughts. Because as I said, at that time, I mean, it was basically, to give you an idea, it was around the time that I was old enough to start understanding what happened to me when I was younger and how effed up that whole situation was and the way my peers and their parents reacted to it. And so, I mean, there was a few times that my friend, she would call me up if she saw something on my MySpace and be like, hey girl, you okay? Like, do you need to come over and like, smoke a bowl? Do I need to like call Jeremy? Because I was my boyfriend at the time. And I told her, no, I need to just get it out of my head. And so being able to put it on that, it was able to just get it out of my head and put it on paper, or in that case, it was screen. Where when I set up my Facebook, it was a little bit different. It was a little bit more personal because, it's actually me. It's my actual profile pictures. It's my actual life. It's actual friends or acquaintances, people I actually know. I mostly keep to people I know. I do have a couple of my old pen pals and stuff on my Facebook, but I have actually thought about, if I ever become big, if I ever get past, say if I get past 100 subscribers, right now I'm sitting at 12 subscribers. If I get past, say, 100 subscribers, I would most likely private my Facebook account. So then only the people who are friends with me are able to see what I post on there. Because a lot of times I do post really personal things on there, but it's okay because I'm able to choose who sees it. So I can keep it just to my close friends or family, or I can just choose only these certain people in my friends list can actually see it. So it's a little bit different. And
Yeah, but you know what goes through my mind, okay? Because we're talking again about cancel culture, and within cancel culture, let's just use the word celebrity, okay?
Mhm.
Let's say you are a celebrity,
Mhm.
and let's say you're just an example. Let's say you're a singer, okay, and you have music out there, and you make videos, and you
I'm
tour
laughing because that's what
around.
I'm currently in the process
You,
of doing.
you tour around, and you're basically, you know, it's all about the music and everything else.
Yeah.
But in order for you to become not only famous, which you're finding yourself starting to be, but in order to become even more famous, you're required to have social media accounts. It's like our society is saying, if you want to make it as a star, as a celebrity, you have to have a Facebook page or a Twitter account
or an Instagram.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Certain forms of social media. That way, you have to put yourself out there. So then, of course, they do like what you're talking about. You know, they leave all their private stuff for their private friends, and their non-private stuff, their PR stuff, on their social media pages, right? So that way, you know, people can still get in touch with them, even though in reality, a lot of celebrities have someone that's paid to actually do all that for them. They're not even involved with it. But
most of the time, yeah. There are some that are a little bit more, but
yeah. But the point is that basically, they're even though they're not sharing their personal private stuff, they're sharing more of just their PR
and
stuff.
people always read into it more anyway.
There's still times that they are out there in the public singing, and they have a moment in between songs where, let's say, they start to say something, right? So you say something that you don't intend the way you say it. Well, in the old past, when you would be, let's say, in your own concert, giving your own performance, and you have a downtime, and you're talking to your audience, and you say something stupid accidentally, it only goes to your audience, and then it died after that.
Right. Like some people might still talk about years later.
But now with social media, it becomes this like a tree branching out forever endlessly, and all of a sudden, whatever stupid, ignorant thing that you accidentally said in public goes out there, and the next thing you know, you have, you know, a huge portion of social media society saying this person needs to stop singing their music and stop performing and telling the basically the companies that they're affiliated with to cancel culture because of what they said. And they have spent their whole life. So you focus your whole life as a celebrity, you focus, part of a huge amount of your focus is all PR. It's making sure that you don't accidentally ever say anything stupid. And having to hide all of your private shit that only your private friends know about in that social media form.
And it's very exhausting.
It's like being, basically, it's like the royalty, you know, in England, you know, the Meghan and Harry
that's a mess.
and Meghan thing. Yeah.
I haven't even I actually
the
have an interview.
The amount of scrutiny that they have to go through.
Yeah.
And even now that they detached from the crown, they're still going through it. And it's
the last interview. I haven't even watched their most recent interview that started another row of scandals, but I plan to eventually. No, I get what you're saying. Like, I mean, even me, and I'll say this, like, I have my Facebook, and I do have, like, a Facebook page, but honestly, I'm very rarely on Facebook. I'm mostly on Twitter and mostly on Instagram. I have 2 Twitter accounts. One is strictly to help support my K-pop band that I really like, and, you know, strictly for that. And then I have my other one that is just strictly my business, and I'll occasionally share my K-pop stuff on that too. And I do, like, I literally, like, it's, today my mom and I were talking, and I told her, every time I work on, say another video for, my YouTube series, Let's Have Coffee, which this is going to go on, or, I decide to make a comment on something. Like this morning I commented on one of Lizzo's videos, thanking her for showing that everyone has a different body type, and no matter what, not everyone could be a size 2, and oh my goodness, everyone was just like, it's just, but you almost, like, every time you post something, every time you comment something, it's almost like you have to choose the battle you want. And I would be fine just completely going, nope, I am not going to do social media. I am going to, like, completely go off on this. I'm not going to do it. However, if I really want to get my career up that I'm doing, I'm going to have a social media presence. And that was, I think, one of the hardest things I had to take into consideration by choosing to, possibly self-publish my book, by choosing to basically starting my music career with no company backup or anything, just doing it on my own and hoping that someone notices me. And it does suck because I have to sit there and I have to think, well, what do I post? What do I not post? And
you kind of get to a point where you can't have an opinion on anything that is public relation. I mean, you get to that point because it's
and yet we always want celebrities' personal opinion.
You almost have to have the same kind of standards of yourself as, say, a journalist. Mm-hmm. Because a journalist is not allowed really to have an opinion. They just state facts.
They have to stay neutral and just
stay
facts,
neutral.
Yeah.
And you basically have to do that as a celebrity or anyone that's in the public's eye, because the second you give an opinion, you're going to have 1,000 different opinions about your opinion.
Yeah, even if you literally state there and go, this is my personal opinion about XYZ, yeah. People will attack on that.
And if it's too strong an opinion, then you're definitely going to be canceled. Yeah. If you're trying to get any kind of career going at all.
There's this one, I think it was a YouTuber I follow, but they were kind of having a similar conversation we are. And basically it got to the point that one of the things that came up was, don't make a persona of yourself that you can't do. And that's a lot of celebrities who have been, like, hashtag canceled. A lot of it is just they've had a certain persona their whole career, and now it's cracking, right? And the moment it starts cracking is when the hashtag cancel comes up, because then people are like, oh, they faked their whole personality, blah, 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 blah. So basically trying to find that middle ground of staying true to yourself while also doing whatever you want to do. And I think that's the challenge I have, because I have two choices. I can have the choice of doing what I'm currently doing with my YouTube channel, with recording my music and stuff that I started doing and hopefully will have uploaded soon, and posting on social media and doing all that, with knowing that there will always possibly be a backlash on whatever I do, no matter how minor it is. I will always offend someone no matter how hard I try. Or my other choice basically is to stay quiet, basically either delete all my social media or not even bother, remove my YouTube channel, not even bother, etc. And stay where I'm currently at.
Yeah.
And that's literally my choice right now as an artist. And it's a very hard decision, because it's like, as an artist, it's, do I do what I've always wanted to do and be the artist? Mm-hmm. Or do I just secretly do this on the side, and when I die, someone might come across it later?
Well, and so obviously your choice is, if you want to move forward,
mm-hmm.
is you're going to have to become publicly acknowledged
in some shape or form.
In some shape or form, writer. And so at that point, you just have to be very cautious with what you share and what you don't share. And you can't even say certain things about your own life as far as, say, sexual preferences or religious preferences or any kind of debatable gray area opinion
Or you
about
could be
pretty
another
much
one.
anything. Just the facts of where I'm from, what I've done in life, and my basic bio without any actual, and
There's actually another option
Mm-hmm.
that I've come across, and I came across it by accident,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been playing with it, and it actually is working.
Yeah.
You want to know what that is?
Yeah, go ahead.
Being bluntly honest, because people do not know what to do with blunt honesty.
Yeah, they do. They break it apart and they say that you're not really being honest.
Yes and no. Most of the ones I've come across, when I just sit there and be bluntly honest,
Yeah.
shut up. Like, you want to know how I got rid of that whole, like, attacking on my comment today about supporting Lizzo for being body positive? Because everyone's like, yes, everyone can be a size 2, right? And I replied, and literally the moment I said this, everyone stopped replying to me. No more comments. After hours of my phone going beep, 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 beep. You want to know what I said?
What?
Yes, everyone can be a size 2, but not healthily. Immediately. Because what is the opposite of obesity? Anorexia.
Yeah.
And no one can fucking deny that.
Yeah.
So the
size
moment,
2, it reflects the idea of anorexia, basically.
and the
It's
moment
an
I point that out,
unhealthy-
everyone went,
Yeah.
because they couldn't really have a comeback to that. And it's getting creative with it, and it does, like, I've actually come across finding ways, like, basically do not clap back in the heat of the moment. Always, always, always take a breath, step away, even if it's for a couple of days, reflect on it, and go back. Because the problem is once you get heated and everyone is in the heat of the moment, it doesn't matter what you say, what you don't say.
You're primed to basically say the wrong thing the wrong way. Where if you step back, you take some time, you think about exactly how you're going to respond, you plan it all out strategically, you're less likely to screw up. Yeah.
And I learned that too on my other account, on my other Twitter account, because we started doing a hashtag for that member, and of course we've had the Solarist and all the other people trying to cancel us. But anyway, I made a comment. I had done like a thread, and I made a comment about mental health, and someone had basically quoted my tweet and was just like, it's funny that you're talking about mental health when you yourself could, this project that you guys are doing could be affecting their mental health. And I knew I wanted to say something back, but I was just like, no, I need to process this. I want to make sure I actually say it right. And so I took the time and I would write it out, and then I'd go back and reread it, and then I'd change it, edit. I took a couple of days before I replied back. And so I ended up replying back a couple of days later and quoted their tweet and basically pointed out that you have, I basically said, yes, you have a good point, but so do I. We both basically made a good point. But the thing is neither of us know these celebrities in person. None of us personally know them. All we know is what has been given to us as fans, what they have shared with us as fans. So for all we know, this is either helping their mental health or ruining their mental health. But we ourselves will never know unless the celebrities involved tell us themselves.
Well, what you're basically...
And we may not find out until years later.
What you're basically saying is making a judgment based without all of the information necessary to make a good sound.
Yeah, because
correct
she could have been right,
judgment.
or I could have been right,
Yeah.
but neither of us at the end of
If
the day will know
if I
unless
don't
that person
know you from Adam and you're a celebrity and I only have X amount of information,
Mm-hmm.
you say something, I judge you based on what you said without really
Or what I don't
knowing
say, but yeah.
you intimately enough and knowing enough of the details of what surrounded that incident
Mm-hmm.
in order to really make a proper rational judgment that is based on complete knowledge.
Yeah.
And that is something that
And
really
we have
doesn't happen on social media.
and I've noticed,
Yeah.
if I point those things out, though, I've noticed the more and more I will do that, and I point things out like that, immediately people go, "Oh, shit!" it pauses. It will stop. Like literally, your phone, like my phone, for example, will go from beep 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 to silence.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that. And I've started going, okay, I have something here. I have something I can point out. And because it doesn't matter how many facts you point out to people, you can sit there and send people articles and all this other stuff, videos, whatever, and they won't listen. And it's because like I've noticed
Well, it's because of human nature. Human nature is if we're not ready to hear it, we're not going to hear it.
We're not going to hear it.
And
But if you
could
kind
even
of stay
share-
neutral.
You could share every little bit of information that you possibly can about why this incident occurred and why it was said the way you said it.
But if they don't want to hear it,
And
they're
if
not
they
going
don't
to hear
want
it.
to hear it, they're not going to hear it. It's going to go poof out their mind. They're not going to want to listen.
This one thing, and I've seen so many K-pop idols have had this issue, and I've seen so many videos pointing it out. There are Korean words that same word or similar enough that even I have had to go wait and reverse the song and listen to it again and go, oh, okay. But if you are not familiar with Korean, you're going to immediately go,
You could make it a false.
that person just said the N-word.
Yeah, you could.
And
make
it's
a
one
false
of those
assumption.
it's one of those words that's very common. It's kind of like you or I. It's one of those you can't really avoid. It's very common. And I've seen so many people who have both Koreans, both just Korean fans, etc., make thousands and thousands and thousands of videos, thousands and thousands of posts, pointing out these words that are misheard in K-pop songs because it sounds similar to
And
the
it
N-word.
didn't do any good.
And it hasn't done any good in years.
Yep. Yeah, that's the whole point. So how do you survive as a celebrity? How do you survive cancel culture? How do you keep from
That is a
being
good question.
canceled in culture? How does that happen? How do you, well, the thing that I can think of off the top of my mind is your character, your moral character, who you are as a person. If you continue down the path of being the person, the moral, ethical person that you are, being the true self who you truly are, and you live your life that way.
Eventually they can't snap back. Yeah,
let's take...
Basically,
let's take
instead of making a facade of yourself, just stick to being your true self.
Yeah.
And only...
let me give you an example, okay? Let me think of... so, for instance, I can't think of the celebrity, but he played the pirate in Pirates of the Caribbean. What's his name?
Johnny Depp?
Johnny Depp, okay. Let's take Johnny Depp as an example, okay?
Okay.
Johnny Depp, in my opinion, was married to a conniving, evil bitch.
Yes, he was. I agree.
Who basically put out false propaganda about what he had done to her.
And he got cancel culture to the point he basically lost a lot of
But
roles.
his character, who he is as a person, outshined her bullshit. And basically, he ultimately got canceled out of a couple of things. But then there was other companies and other, that came in and said, no, we still want you because we know that she's a bitch. That's just an example, but I mean, it's the way in which you present yourself, the way in which you live your life, and if you live your life truly who you are as a person, and don't skew from that being an upstanding person will shine through all cancel culture's opinions about everything.
Yeah, and I do agree on that one. I mean, that's what I try to keep in the back of my mind when I do my work, when I do things, is it's like just being myself, just be me.
Yeah.
Don't act different on the camera versus how I would act off camera with my friends.
That's right.
Just stay the same. And that is true because it's like, yes, maybe say someday in the future someone comes across an old post of mine on Facebook or my own MySpace and tries to cancel me. Well, my character for that period of time has proven that that's no longer me. I mean, that's kind of one of those, I tend to be bluntly honest about my past. It's because at least by being bluntly honest with my past, if someone tries to cancel me on my past, say someone tries to cancel me for having gotten into drugs and alcohol and, all that stuff, I was with my ex-husband, well, guess what? I've been honest and truthful about that since the beginning. In fact, guess what? I've actually talked about it in my first set of songs and throughout all these other songs I've done. I've been honest about it in my writing. I've been honest about it in my music. I've been honest about it in interviews. So why are you going to try to cancel me for having had, an addiction when I was younger, when I've always been honest about having had that addiction when I was younger?
Yeah.
And I've, say I'll even, make donations to causes that help people with addictions and all that. Well, there's a reason I do that, because I once was one of them, kind of thing. So it's basically beating them to the punch as best as you can. And there will always be surprises. There will always be people who still will try to sneak in a punch every once in a while.
And one of the challenging things within cancel culture too, and this is recently something that's been in the media, is with Osbourne. What is her name? Ozzy Osbourne's wife. My mind's going blank.
I know who you're talking about.
You know what else?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't remember her name. I see her face.
I know.
I know her face. I know. Gosh, I'm a fan of Ozzy Osbourne. I can't think of her name.
What is her name? Anyway,
I'm going to have to look this up.
She's a celebrity. Okay, but she's supporting a celebrity that said something stupid or did something stupid. And so she's being canceled because she's sticking behind someone else that's trying to be canceled. So it's getting to the point of ridiculous.
It is.
Where just if you're affiliated with someone that you're friends with that happened to do some sin, whatever it was, then you get canceled. I mean, it's not Karen Osborne. I can't think of her name. Suzanne? No.
I'm looking it up right now.
Shoot. Anyway. So, yeah, I mean, that's the whole point, is it's crazy. Can we take a break on the... I don't know what the rest of it is.
Okay, so Sharon is the current wife, and then there was Thelma. So you're talking about Sharon then, the one that's on The View?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Because she was supporting another celebrity friend of hers and something he had said, then she ended up basically getting kind of canceled from a show that she was on because of that.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
I've been actually being surrounded by this musician. I'm trying to think if he was a rapper or anything, but basically he had done like a country song or something from my understanding, and so all the conservatives were like, oh, this is our guy and we support him and everything, not realizing he was a big member and supporter of the LGBT community and I think he's gay. But he recently did a music video where he goes to heaven with a stripper pole, gets sent to hell, does a strip dance, I think, for Satan, and then like kills him and becomes the devil, something like that. But anyway, the conservatives are all up in arms because, oh, we thought you were one of ours. And anyway, it was just like, he was never one of yours. Like, I'm trying to think of the name of that guy, but that's what I've been having going through my newsfeed is that whole fiasco. So I didn't even know that Osborne's wife was also in the thing. So, but no, I think to kind of circle back around to my previous point of how cancel culture takes advantage of the abusive and darker side of our society to basically pin us against each other.
Yeah.
I mean, you've read The Dark Psychology like I have, and he points out some things in there about, you know, the darker side of our society, the more abusive side of our society. And I mean, that was like something I really had to reflect on, because I remember after, this was like a couple of years after I had divorced my ex-husband, and I went through like this trial and error with my like friends group, I want to say, my peer group, whatever. Like I thought I had like people there to back me up and people I could call on when I needed them, only to have them turn around and backstab me later because of certain things. Like I had this one gal who I allowed to stay with me for a while, and then, you know, my manager was just like, dude, I was going to stay with you on your couch, and I was just like, no, and I was like, told her, hey, you can't sleep on my couch anymore, and she legitimately wanted to fight me. She nearly punched me one day because I was just like, no, and she went off on this whole thing. And I had another one that she was like acted like a friend to my face, but behind my back she was stabbing me, and she was like calling me into like our apartment manager and doing all this stuff. And there was this huge incident one night where she did a last minute party and basically some shit went down, and the next day her response was, she was not angry at all. Her response was, yeah, you're a grown adult, you should have had like the ability to do it. It didn't matter that I was blacking out drunk. It was, you know, I'm an adult, deal with my consequences. Even though she promised me she had my back and she would watch me. So there's that abuse of society, and it literally has gotten me to the point, there are times I question on whether or not I want to be a part of this society. But then I've recently found, you know, like I have my best friend and her husband, and I have you, and I have Rachel, and I've at least found like these little people that I know have my back. But there are also times that I do know that there are always going to be those people who will go, yes, I'll be your friend and I'll be there and I'll help you do this and this and this, only to turn around and stab me in the back later on. And that has always been a part of our society. I mean, shoot, like, what's that saying? Nice guys finish last is really like engraved in our society, into our culture. Now, I'm not saying like other countries have that, but at least here in America, we really have that huge nice guys finish last. And so what you have is a whole bunch of people constantly backstabbing each other, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's in your friends group, whether it's on social media. But everyone is just sitting there with fucking knives and just stabbing each other. And that's basically how our society functions right now. And then you throw the cancel culture card into that chaos that already exists, and what happens?
It makes it really hard for you to function as a celebrity.
You just threw a gun into a knife fight. And now you have a gun in this massive knife fights, but you don't know who is holding the gun. And that's basically what cancel culture has created. And it doesn't matter. I know you keep bringing up celebrities, and yes, it makes it harder for celebrities, but it actually makes it hard for people in general.
Yeah.
There was literally one day I remember.
Well,
I actually it affected me mentally because we first started doing this hashtags, and I did thinking, it's like, yes, I support this, so I'll go ahead and do the hashtags. And was literally being attacked nonstop for a hashtag. A harmless little fun that I and a group of people decided to do. And I had to literally step away from social media for a couple of days. And, like what you were saying earlier about how your peace of mind is your choice. And I've had to, take that with social media, because you do have to sit there and go, okay, how much of what's currently going on social media really affects me? And because this was my fan account, it was kind of like, whatever, if that account gets deleted, I can always make a new one. It's not my own personal account, it's my fan account. I'm literally anonymous, as you put it, on that account. No one knows that account's hooked up to my other account. Where if it was my personal account, I might take it a little bit more personally because that's my own personal account. It's got my own personal stuff on there. I've shared my links to my YouTube videos. I've shared the links to my blog, etc. It's connected to my Instagram account and stuff like that. But it was on my other account, my anonymous account. So,
but the thing that always worries me, though, is that let's say you have this anonymous account, let's say you have this private account that only goes to your friends and your closest acquaintances and people that understand you enough to be able to allow you to be able to share your private stuff. But again, this comes down to what I remember learning years and years and years ago, and that is anything that is written down becomes permanent record.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing online as it is on a hard piece of paper, where basically if it's typed in, written down, out there in the electronic world, it can get hacked. And if you become a big enough name, someone's going to try and hack your private stuff, and they're going to get to it. And cancel culture is going to find out about it, and cancel culture is going to cancel your ass for something that you have that was private that someone decided to hack into.
There's also that thing, too.
That's why I don't like any kind of... that's why, like I said, if I have someone that's on Facebook and I want to touch base and I haven't touched base for a number of years, I'll get on there long enough to say, hey, give me your phone number, or give me, some way that I can contact you to get a phone number so that we can talk in person. Because I don't believe in allowing social media to have any of my... I don't believe in having any of my thoughts written down on paper. It's perfectly safe if I'm saying it through the air to you. It's reasonably safe. But if I put it on a piece of paper and I put it out there on the electronic web, there you go.
The phone with texting and phone calls, it's the same fucking thing as social media.
Yeah, it is.
Because someone could record the phone calls. Someone could screenshot the text messages.
Years and years ago, IM, when they had just instant messaging back and forth between you and one other person, and that's all there was. Yeah. I was totally into it and totally had fun. But you know what? I was also putting public record out there. That's still out there to this day. And I'm like,
somewhere. And someone could have that. Yeah.
And I don't even know what the hell it was, because I can't remember years.
Right.
20 or more years ago.
But see, that's also just the fun with our society. But you also have to sit there and go, okay, are you going to just live the rest of your life permanently not interacting with anyone. Because eventually it would get to that point. Because even if, say you do meet up with someone in person and talk to them face to face, how do you know that person's not recording you?
Yeah.
How do you know there's not someone at the table who's got a little microphone facing your direction?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that thought too. I mean,
it's kind of like, do you live the rest of your life acting like you're spied on from all directions?
Yeah,
you just
could
live
live your whole
peacefully.
life. You could live your whole life paranoid about every single thing you say.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it wouldn't do you any good.
I mean, you got me back into journaling, which I appreciate, because that's nice. Because then I can write down in my journal and choose whether or not I want to share it on my blog.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also the possibility that, say, some years later, my journals could be in a storage somewhere because my kids don't think anything of it. They don't think, oh wait, mommy was a celebrity, maybe we should burn all of our journals. No, they're just going to keep it because, oh, this was mommy's thoughts. And then say someone comes across my old journals in like an old forgotten storage unit or something.
Yep.
And even though I'm dead, suddenly my inner personal thoughts are out in the open.
Yep.
So even my journal could be used against me.
I mean, look at Michael Jackson. When Michael Jackson died, they took all of his stuff, a bunch of songs that he did that he never intended to ever get out there, and they made it into an album, and they sold it and made millions of dollars off of his dead hands that were on it to hold on to it. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy the things that
he never wanted out. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And see, so there's no getting away from it because shit could happen even when you die. So it's literally, do you live your whole life paranoid? Do you just not do anything? Do you burn the pages of your fucking journal after you write them down so you don't leave a trace for someone to find sometime in the future? Or do you just live your life and say, fuck it, and be, as you said earlier,
be who you are. Be the authentic you.
Mm-hmm.
Live your life authentically as much as you can to just be you.
And find a type of inner peace from that.
In other words, choose to be at peace in amongst the chaos, the noise, the judgments,
Mm-hmm.
the harsh criticisms, the critiques, and everything else, and be you fully as confident as you can in yourself with whatever you're doing, and just believe in yourself, and just say, fuck everyone else.
Exactly. Just live your life.
I'm sorry, that's ultimately my mantra.
Right. I think for me, and I'm right there with you. I could do what Lizzo is currently doing. You do know who Lizzo is, right?
Mm-mm. No, but
let me show you the picture.
Are we still recording, by the way? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, I figured we were. I just wanted to ask.
Let me show you a picture of the Lizzo.
Here, I'm going to have to take a break. Why don't we use this opportunity to take a break? I need to. So.
That's Lizzo.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Some kind of celebrity or something.
Yeah. Okay. And she's been attacked for her weight and all this other stuff. You're adorable. Okay.
Drives my wife nuts. Like, I just start playing with shit. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know, I'm just fucking playing.
Just playing with shit.
Just because I'm bored.
God. But no, so now you see who Lizzo is, right?
Yeah.
So basically, she's chosen to clap back at her haters, so to speak. So basically, she's had, like, since the beginning of her career, a huge support by, more heavier weight people. because she's bigger, right?
Mhm.
And she's like a really famous singer, and that's one of her big.
Are we recording at this point, or are we just talking?
We're recording.
Okay, right.
So she's had like this huge following of, bigger sized people who supported her, right?
Mm.
And she's gotten clap back about that, about supporting obesity and stuff like that, right? She's just, heavier set. Well, during quarantine, during lockdown, she shared on her social media her working out, what she eats in a day and stuff. Well, she's had clapback from now both sides. So before she was only getting it from the one side, now she's getting it from both sides. She's getting her fans who followed her specifically because of her weight. And then you have these people going, "You're lying, da 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 da." Well, she's chosen to basically clap back, right? So you can kind of do what she's doing, which personally, in my opinion, I would not. I would just go let the haters bark, to quote one of my K-pop idols, and just move on with your day. I personally would rather do that, right? Well, then you have that, and then you have people who did what Johnny Depp did, right? He spoke his truth. He got hate for it because, a man cannot possibly be abused, even though you and I both called BS on that.
Yeah.
Capital letters. And yet now, what, a year later, I think it is? No, is it even a year later? I kind of want to feel like it's been going on for
I
a
don't know
year.
how long it's been.
I don't know. But we are now finding out sometime later that he was telling his truth. Right? And now everyone's supporting him again and going, "We're sorry," da 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 da, right? Even though you still have some haters.
The truth came out.
Yeah, the truth came out. And Johnny Depp did it in a way that I feel like if I had been in a situation like that, I probably would have done the same. Yes, he nearly had his career destroyed, and at one point we weren't sure if he'd ever be able to come back and everything, but he kind of just did you know what? I spoke my truth. Here's my truth.
Part of what saved him, though, was he had an eyewitness.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason.
Not only did he have an eyewitness, he had recordings.
Yeah.
He also had recordings. So we got to hear what she said versus what he said.
Yeah.
And you could, just based off of those recordings. So, basically, as you put it, the truth came out. Mm. But I did notice that during that time, Johnny Depp kind of went silent for a while. He just kind of was like, "You know what? Here's my truth, whatever," and just...
I'm going to go bury myself underground for a little while.
I'm just going to, log off.
Yeah.
And let this pass, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like I would probably maybe do that a little bit like Johnny Depp did. Try to live as much of a normal life as I could while people started realizing, oh, she is speaking the truth, like Johnny Depp did. So I kind of prefer Johnny Depp's approach versus Lizzo's, because the only problem about clapping back at the haters is you're going to constantly be doing that. And eventually it's going to get draining.
Yeah, well...
I'm surprised she's not exhausted yet.
Part of what I think clapping back comes to is basically that's when you know within yourself that you were not doing anything, that you didn't do anything wrong. So then what you do is you clap back and you say, "This is why I didn't do that," or "I didn't do that because of this and that, and this is my evidence that was basically bullshit," right? So then what you say is, "Hate me if you want, but if you love me, this is the direction my ass is going. If you like me, follow me." Yeah. That's basically I'm assuming that's kind of what Lizzo did.
Kind of. I mean, she did do, one of my favorite videos of hers was, or a couple, she did this one where she was just like, "This is my body, this is my choice, and I can choose what to do with it." She did another one where she kind of did this song of, this, you only get one body and you only have that one type of body, so love the body you have because no one else has that type of body, kind of thing, which was actually kind of catchy. I liked it. because like no one has the same type of body as you kind of thing. But and it was interesting. But again, the only problem with her clapping back at the haters is she's also just kind of throwing more wood on the flame, so to speak. Because by her clapping back, the haters are like, "Oh, you think that, do you?" And then they go right back at it. Where Johnny Depp kind of doing his more, here's the truth.
And then despairs, and that's all there is to it. Yeah.
And just lets everyone figure it out.
It's just
So,
different. It's just different philosophies. On
it is. I mean,
situation.
it's kind of like
Yeah.
choosing. It's like earlier when I was saying choosing what battle to take, or your little quote that you wrote about your peace of mind is your choice. So, in a way, Johnny Depp kind of chose his own peace of mind by just going, "Here's my truth," and just going off the radar for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Lizzo's idea of her peace of mind is clapping back at her haters. There's also like what's going on with my fandom right now. Of some of us like doing these hashtags, and others don't like us doing those hashtags, and blah 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 blah. But we each have chosen our own peace of mind. So. And I think one of the biggest things is just trying to point out to people that we all have, there's always two sides to a story, there's always two sides to a coin. And I think people need to stop doing they see a 2-second clip and decide they're going to cancel this person. I think if more and more people would go, okay, where's the rest of it? Taking the time to actually research it and finding out the actual full truth instead of assuming based off of a 2-second clip. But unfortunately, our society is so used to just getting all their information from a 2-second clip and assuming and asking questions later, only to have that bite them in the ass. And I think if we take the lesson we've learned this last year from Johnny Depp's situation, and just instead of assuming before we have all the information out, wait until we have more information.
Well, you look at the governor of New York, Cuomo, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is sexual abuse allegations against him by a huge amount of women,
Mm-hmm.
which the more women come out, the more damning it is for his reputation and everything. And he has said, I didn't do anything wrong. I haven't done anything wrong. And let the truth come out. Let them investigate me. And he's been open and saying, investigate.
Yeah.
Investigate all these things. Find out what the truth is. And then make a decision on me.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, culture said, let's cancel him. Culture said, let's force him out of his job. I mean, you even had a lot of Democrats that were saying,
right.
He needs
but then
to
6
quit.
months from now, we could find out that all those allegations were false.
I mean, because it was like, in my mind, I was sitting there thinking, Trump hated Cuomo.
Mm-hmm.
Hated Cuomo. Would have every reason in the world to set up a bunch of women to say false allegations against him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just a conspiracy theory, but still, you don't really know the truth until you know all the facts.
Exactly.
So keep your mouth shut until you know all the facts that need to be known. Then, if you want to make a decision, but don't jump to a conclusion. I've done that in my own life wrong 1,000 times, and I'll probably do it 1,000 more. But just put a number on it, but 1,000's probably not even a good
It's kind of
estimate.
one of those don't ask him or you'll make an ass out of yourself.
Yeah, you don't ask him or you make an ass out of you and me. Yes, I know.
I think where the biggest issue is with that is just the cancel culture didn't really take its big thing until the Me Too movement. And honestly, when you look into why that is you have all these people doing where they actually did have actual evidence and stuff, and people going, oh yeah, right, and then eventually their voices would become loud enough to where you couldn't deny it, right? Well, now, as like an apology, I guess, to those people, now you can just simply state, hey, that person did XYZ to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have any proof that they did XYZ to me. And yet everyone will take your side even though you don't have evidence. Just to find out you were just trying to cancel this person or just trying to get money or whatever, right? So I think it's kind of gone from that because people feel bad that they did not originally listen to the victims from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they've kind of taken that apology and gone to like the extreme other side of the coin instead of staying in the gray and making sure they get all the evidence first before going #cancel. Now it's, we didn't cancel this person when you first came out, and we should have instead of supporting them.
Mm-hmm.
So now every time there's any type of allegation like what's going on in New York, it gets shoved to the extreme because people don't want to make the same mistake again.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
So it's, and unfortunately that's our society.
It's a fickle thing. Okay, well, shall we end it on that?
We will end it on that
Okay.
with the mystery man special guest. It will stay a mystery. If you guys would like to join in the conversation, please comment below. Or if you have any ideas for future topics, you can always DM me on all of my social media accounts. Or send me an email at Wyona A.M @gmail.com. And my Tumblr blog, WyM3 blog. You can also check out all of my other YouTube videos, my music and books channel, Wyona A.M, and my WyM3 vlog, which is basically my home base and my vlog channel. And of course, if you haven't, also like and subscribe this channel, my Coffee with WyWy channel, where we will have more and more discussions like this one.